Hey guys, welcome to the channel where today we're going to be diving back into toys. That's right. I got the bug to start doing these again, and the first one I'm going to cover is one that's been on my list that I never picked up due to the secondary market price. However, not long ago, it actually was available for a short time on the Hasbro Pulse website, which, if you're into this line, I recommend bookmarking the site and checking it often. Go ahead and bookmark Target as well, since over half the line shows up there. As you can see from the box that there's quite a bit going on with 2 large cannons, 2 pistols, a helmet, a knife, and a snake gun. Well, at least she seems pretty well armed for combat, so let's go ahead and get her out of the box and see what you get for your money, shall we? I think the first thing that we should go ahead and look at with this is the motorcycle, especially since she's the first one in this line to actually come with any kind of vehicle. And I have to say they're off to a good start. This thing is solid, it's really nice looking, and it feels heavy for its size. The main cannon's attached solidly to each side of the bike, making it look really nice and aggressive. I particularly like the detailing on it. It's just enough to make the bike look good, but not enough to make it look overly busy. Surprisingly as well, this thing is very stable. It stands up on its own, with or without the kickstand. On top of that, it actually rolls really smoothly. So, I have to say for my money, this vehicle's worth the extra money so far. Let's move on to the Baroness herself. Now, I have to admit, I really like this figure. The armor's more modern, but at the same time, it's very much a classic look that helps you identify her as the Baroness right off the bat. It's also very consistent with the way the Cobra line has been designed, with more of a classical sense to each one of the characters. Frankly, I like it. I'm all for new ideas, but I also like when they modernize versions of the original ideas and make them look cleaner and more aesthetically pleasing. I mean, just look at how good a job they did on this head sculpt. The hair, the face, all of this looks great. Even the glasses, while still molded to the head, look like a separate piece of the figure. They even went to the trouble of adding some eyeshadow to her eyes. This is the kind of attention to detail that I really like in this line of figures. Speaking of amazing detail, just look at how good a job they did on the armor here. The elaborate Cobra emblem on the chest, the second one on the crossed belt, it makes the overall effect of the figure incredibly impressive. So check this out. Even when we turn her around and look at the figure from the back, it's impressive. Her hair just flows really nicely down her back, which you would actually think would cause some issues with head movement. But there aren't any. I literally couldn't find any issues with the head movement in this figure. The pistols she has situate really nicely into the holsters, and if I have one complaint about them, it would be that I cannot for the life of me adjust her arms to where it looks like she's drawing them out of the holster. However, as you can see from the shot, they look really good in her hand. And I'll admit, I'm not completely sure what their fascination is with gold weapons for her industrial, but they work, and if they work, they work. You might have also noticed the knife on her hip. I have to admit, this fits really nicely in the sheath and looks great in her hand, even having its own elaborate snake head on the hilt. She also has a snake gun. This thing's actually really cool looking, and overall, it's nice. It wraps around her wrist nicely, and it looks really good. It even has some really good detailing on the cowl and the eyes for it. Now, I'm not sure how much I'll use this particular one, as you can't really store it on her like you can most of her other weapons, but more accessories are always a good thing in this line as far as I'm concerned. The last thing we're going to look at on this figure is the helmet that actually comes with her, because, well, it's actually a separate head. You have to pop off the original head and then pop this one on in place of it. And overall, I think the effect's good. It's got nice detailing on it, which you really can't see until you get it in the right light. But when you do, you can realize that they actually tried to almost work a snake head onto the helmet itself, with the fangs coming down on the front. They honestly could have left this out, and the figure would still be worth it, but having it is that much nicer, and it looks fantastic on her while she's on the bike. So, what's the final verdict on this? Do I like it? Do I recommend it? Do I not recommend it? Do I think it's a waste of money? Well, I obviously don't think it's a waste of money because I bought one. I would not really consider keeping the box on this one. A lot of times I like to keep boxes on figures because I like to pack them away, and I like them to have the original packaging, because it's easier to ship them and move them, and carrying them from one house to the other and lose less stuff. This one I almost had to destroy the box to get it out of, so I would say if you're looking at it for that standpoint, find some other way to store the pieces for this one to keep it. It was way too hard to get out of the box. I literally almost ripped it apart getting her out. That said, I actually think she's worth the money if you can get her at a reasonable price. With the bike being as good as it is, and the figure having this many accessories, I can safely say it's worth the retail price it's asking for. Now, is it worth the insane prices it has been going for online? No, absolutely not. You should definitely keep an eye on Target's webpage and Hasbro Pulse to see if you can find it coming back in stock and snap one up as soon as you can see it. That's how you should do it. Other than that, I would not spend a ton of money on it. For now, though, I'd like to thank you guys for watching the video, and if I can ask you to do one more thing, go ahead and hit the like button, and the subscribe button, and the bell, and set it to all notifications, because otherwise YouTube won't tell you when I put anything up. You know, that's a whole standard thing that YouTube does. But, have a great rest of your day, and happy collecting.